On display here today we have the CakePro950, which is the InkEdibles direct-to-food printer model, CakePro950. It has a food tray, which when the printer is first turned on should be outside the printer. Turning the printer on is very simple. There is a power button at the back. You just turn that on once the power cable is plugged in. And coming back to the food tray, I want to show you the adjustability. You can adjust the height with this turn on. By turning to the right, it'll lower the food tray so that you could put food that is up to 10 centimeters tall, and you can turn it to the left all the way up to as little as paper thin height. So that being the food tray, this obviously is the printer. I'm going to come over to the computer here to show you a quick demonstration of using this CakePro950 for the first time to print to a specific type of substrate. So we're going to be printing to these ghost-shaped cookies that are uniquely shaped, and so you would maybe printing to your own types of foods that have their own unique shape, sometimes circle, sometimes something a little more complicated. What you're going to do is set up a template, and you only need to do this once in whatever software it is that you want to use. In our case here, we're using Microsoft Word. You could use Photoshop, Illustrator, whatever it may be. The first time, and you only need to do this once, like I said, you would set up the size of your paper to a custom size, which is easy to do with almost every software. And with Word, we've already created a custom size for the CakePro950, which happens to be 12.4 inches by 20.08 inches, which is the equivalent of the 31.5 centimeters by 51 centimeters, which I mentioned is the size of the food tray. So we've created that size, and take our image, whatever image you want to print, whether it's a logo, image, text, even photo, whatever digital image it is you want to print. In this case we have this Halloween themed image that we're going to print for demo, and have it sized to the size of the food that you want to print to. So in this case we have this particular image sized such that it'll fit on that ghost cookie, and we simply will take it, copy and paste it as many times as we want and as many times as will fit in a row. The first time we're going to do a test print to paper in order to create our template or layout so that we know where the prints are going to lay out in order to place the food in that location. I'll show you exactly what I mean by that, and in this case we've taken that image and pasted it 4 times across one row. So we've put our 4 cookies in a row to show you the concept of how it is that we're going to be printing to. But like I said, for the first print that we're going to do, we're going to print to paper so that we know where those images are going to come out. So removing the cookies, we're going to print to paper. We have the height set to paper thin, and we're now going to insert the food tray into the printer. As you push it in, you will hear, in this case, you push the tray in until you hear a beep. In our new version of the CakePro950, the tray is loaded automatically with a button. This is an early version, no longer available for sale. The new version looks exactly the same, difference being that it has an automatic push button to do what I just did with my hand. Now that we've heard the beep, we know that the food tray is loaded and ready to print. And I'm simply going to come over here to my software and print my image. And so I hit print. Coming back to the printer and wait for that print to come out. It's okay to open this cover while it's printing. No harm will come from that. Or you could keep it closed. So once the printing is complete, the food tray will pop out, and you now have a lay of the land. You know exactly where to place your cookies, and you could keep this paper template for every time it is that you want to print to your ghost cookies, for example. So this would be my template for the ghost cookies. Obviously, I could have printed to the entire tray, and so I would have maybe 2 or 3 sheets of paper taped together, or just a larger piece of paper or parchment paper in order to have that one template and save that template. And basically that template then, as I said, would be the template that I would always use for my ghost cookies. So in this case, I know exactly where to place my cookies, in this case and future cases whenever I print to this type of ghost cookie. So I will lay my cookies over the image, and then adjust the height of the food tray so that the top of the cookies are flush with the top of the food tray. A little lower. So we have the food level with the top of the food tray. And by the way, it doesn't have to be precise, because you could be off by 1 or 2 millimeters and that'll be okay as long as you're not too high. You could be a little lower by 1 or 2 millimeters. This printer is using Epson inkjet technology, which means that the edible ink is actually jetted onto the food and the printhead doesn't actually touch the food. So the fact that it's jetted means it's jetted from a distance, and 1 or 2 millimeters doesn't make a difference. If you also have different surface areas, maybe marshmallow or some other type of food that's not perfectly even or perfectly straight, that's okay as long as it is reasonably smooth and reasonably straight. And so we're now ready to print to these ghost cookies, and we're going to do the same as we did before, which is to load the tray in until we hear a beep. Again, that beep and that movement of the tray in is automated in our new version of the 950 with a button. And coming back to the printer, to the computer, I press print and wait for my printed cookies to come out. You can adjust the quality and the speed essentially of the printer by varying through different quality settings, and by lowering the quality slightly you can increase the speed and vice versa. And here we have our edible image printed directly to our food. This, of course, could be any image whatsoever. I'm zooming in here. We've had some questions to zoom in for our customers to see. The resolution of these prints is up to 1440 dpi, which is extremely high, and essentially will give you perfect clarity with any type of image, even if it is a photo, a logo, whatever it may be. So you have perfectly beautiful prints directly to food with our CakePro950. With this particular tray, this particular cookie size, you could probably fit 2, 3, 4 by 4, 16 of these cookies at a time. It would take approximately 2 to 4 minutes to print to this entire tray. And that's how you could also measure your productivity. The edible ink printing cost is